Then the wind came and blew Conrad's hat very far away, so that he had to run after it. And when he came back again, her hair was put up again, so that he could pull none of it out. And then they tended the geese until the evening. And after they had got home, Conrad went to the old king and said, "I will tend the geese no longer with that girl." "Why not?" asked the old king. "Because she vexes me the whole day long," answered Conrad. Then the old king ordered him to tell how it was. "Every morning," said Conrad, "as we pass under the dark gateway with the geese, there is an old horse's head hanging on the wall, and she says to it, 'O Falada, dost thou hang there?' And the head answers, 'Princess, dost thou so meanly fare? But if thy mother knew thy pain, her heart would surely break in twain.'" And besides this, Conrad related all that happened in the fields, and how he was obliged to run after his hat. The old king told him to go to drive the geese next morning as usual, and he himself went behind the gate and listened how the maiden spoke to Falada, and then he followed them into the fields and hid himself behind a bush, and he watched the goose boy and the goose girl tend the geese. And after a while he saw the girl make her hair all loose, and how it gleamed and shone. Soon she said, "O wind, blow Conrad's hat away, and make him follow as it flies, while I with my gold hair will play, and bind it up in seemly wise." Then there came a gust of wind, and away went Conrad's hat, and he after it, while the maiden combed and bound up her hair, and the old king saw all that went on. At last he went unnoticed away, and when the goose girl came back in the evening, he sent for her, and asked the reason of her doing all this. "That I dare not tell you," she answered, "nor can I tell any man of my woe. For when I was in danger of my life, I swore an oath not to reveal it." And he pressed her sore, and left her no peace, but he could get nothing out of her. At last he said, "If you will not tell it me, tell it to the iron oven," and went away. Then she crept into the iron oven, and began to weep and to lament. And at last she opened her heart and said, "Here I sit forsaken of all the world, and I am a king's daughter, and a wicked waiting woman forced me to give up my royal garments and my place at the bridegroom's side, and I am made a goose girl, and I have to do mean service, and if my mother knew it, it would break her heart." Now the old king was standing outside by the oven door, listening, and he heard all she said. And he called to her and told her to come out of the oven, and he caused royal clothing to be put upon her, and it was a marvel to see how beautiful she was. The old king then called his son and proved to him that he had the wrong bride, for she was really a waiting woman, and that the true bride was here at hand, she who had been the goose girl. The prince was glad at heart when he saw her beauty and gentleness, and a great feast was made ready, and all the court people and good friends were bidden to it. The bridegroom sat in the midst with the princess on one side and the waiting woman on the other, and the false bride did not know the true one, because she was dazzled with her glittering braveries. When all the company had eaten and drunk and were merry, the old king gave the waiting woman a question to answer, as to what such an one deserved, who had deceived her masters in such and such a manner, telling the whole story, and ending by asking, "Now what doom does such an one deserve?" "No better than this," answered the false bride, "that she be put naked into a cask, studded inside with sharp nails, and be dragged along in it by two white horses from street to street, until she be dead. Thou hast spoken thy own doom, said the old king. As thou hast said, so shall it be done. And when the sentence was fulfilled, the prince married the true bride, and ever after they ruled over their kingdom in peace and blessedness.